What's up, YouTube? Sam Animations back at it again with another video. This format is going to be a little bit different than what I usually do. As you can see, my face is being shown again, so I think you can expect this to be another reaction video. So last year, I'm actually really sorry that it was last year. I should have done this like months apart instead. But last year I reacted to the first Ultimate Pivot tournament that I made, and I gave a lot of input on how I animated certain things and my thought process as I was making the tournament. So with the second one here, I plan to do the exact same thing. I'm gonna react to the second tournament. We'll see how that goes. I feel like I would have a lot of insight to say, though it's been, by this point, almost 4 years since I have made the Ultimate Pivot Tournament 2, which is insane to me. But wow, it sounds crazy saying that. I was 16 when I made this thing. So me being 20 years old now, let's see what I have learned or gained over the last 4 years. So with the introductions and formalities out of the way, let's get this video going. So for starters, that whole title sequence, I based it off of two things. I played this game on Roblox called Survive the Disasters 2, and it uses that those same sound effects to introduce the game, and I really liked it. So I wanted to use it for this. So that's exactly what I did. And then when you press the start button on your GameCube controller, that's the sound that it makes for when you're playing Super Smash Bros. Melee. So just combine those two together and then made that cool little intro. But I'm gonna stop talking and just let the video keep rolling. So as you can see, Cyanea has like these little after images that that follow her, and honestly I really wanted to see how far I could take that, but me being a little lazy, I just didn't want to keep on animating that for so long. So I mean, if you've seen this video before, and I'm sure most of you guys have, you notice that she gets eliminated in the semifinals because I was just like, I'm not animating her for the finals, that's too much. So that's on me for being lazy. So Shade is a Naruto clone, because Shadow Clone Jutsu. So honestly, I think my issue with this first fight is just that, you know, not much happens. There isn't much action going on. The movements are pretty static. Like, the animation is pretty fluid, don't get me wrong, but I feel like there just wasn't that much choreography. And I get it, like, it's the first fight, but it could have been better. It's better than the first tournament, at least. That fight was only 5 seconds. But I'll keep going. So this was kind of fun to do. You know, you have fire powers and then like rock powers. And I had a lot of fun making this one, for sure. Just to confirm, if any of you guys had this thought, like, the moveset of Seer is heavily based off of Genos, because I think around this time I was watching One Punch Man. And I really loved the sound effects that Genos would use whenever he did his you know, fire blasts and stuff like that. It was just like so much power, so I wanted to do the same thing. So yeah, But this fight also suffers from the same issue as the first one. Like there just wasn't that much going on. If I were to go back and do this over, I would definitely add in more choreography, make it more energetic, more fun. But you know, it's cool for what it is. Yeah. He got incinerated. So this is when the fights start to get a little bit better, in my honest opinion. I have a little bit more going on. This fight was kind of fun because essentially it was just two hand-to-hand brawlers going against each other. Of course, Azura has lightning to go with it, and Mercury is just like really durable and just knows how to throw hands. So I feel like you guys probably noticed this. I'm actually gonna go back. Whenever I do certain punches, when you look at it frame by frame, you can see I kind of use these dash lines to make them look faster. I'm essentially making smears. I feel like it made the punches look better and the movements look overall smoother, because despite, let's say, the motion looking kind of choppy, when you add in those dash lines to smear it out, it masks that. So it definitely saved me a lot of time to make the movements look faster and not as smooth, because you know this is meant to be a fast-paced fight. But yeah, let's keep watching. Good attention to detail on the smoke. Cool. Nice 5-hit combo. Slam to the ground. And pounce. That was a fun little string combo that I did. So yeah, Xanth was 100% a Flash clone. There's no way around that. But I also did not want Xanth to go this far into the tournament, because I'm just like, I don't want a speedster to get into the finals again. That's stupid. So yeah, Xanth just has super speed. Crimson has a lot of abilities, and I'm just thinking about that right now. I think it was too many. I haven't seen this video in a while, but I don't think I've forgotten his abilities. But like, Crimson is really strong. He can hit the ground hard enough to like allow rocks and stuff to shoot from it. And Crimson also has the ability to use like energy blast, if I recall. So like, he has more than one ability. It's kind of broken looking back at it. But hey, 16-year-old me, what are you gonna do? That part was cool, and it was actually really easy to pull off. So after Xanth dashes, I enlarged one of the sticks, and then I just changed the color to red. I lowered the opacity down, and then all I really had Xanth doing was just moving the dash stick all the way across the screen. As you can see, like, I have some circles there to show like where he hit Crimson. I'm just doing that all over. Crimson isn't really moving at all. All I'm doing is just sliding him to the left, sliding him to the right, crisscross. But that was a joke. But yeah, I was sliding him to the left and right. And then just for a little more attention to detail, I just reflected him on the bottom so he could have some kind of shadow. But it was very simple, and it looked very cool. And then Crimson slams the ground, and this is what I was talking about, where he shoots up rocks. And this part was a pain. I remember it. I'm never gonna forget it. Xanth jumps up, and I do like this really cool slow-mo where he flips over, and then Crimson comes in. He's like, Xanth is like, "Nani?" And then the slow-mo stops, and then Crimson starts doing a string of combos, and it's like really cool. When I pulled it off, like when I was animating, I was just like, oh my gosh, this is gonna look so great. So yeah. So Crimson does some more combos. Not Crimson, Zan. And then Crimson claps back and bam. So you guys may have noticed something. This kick right here, 1 second. Right here. So this, I actually wasn't sure how to do this. I looked at a tutorial, and if you look at the frame by frame process, this is how I did it, and it looked surprisingly smooth. So it's almost like his leg is coming up and he's rotating it, and then for anticipation, as you can see, I hold the pose for about, from what it looks like, 3 or 4 frames, and then I start moving his leg, and then bam, and it just creates this really nice impact, this very nice hit. And I just try and not enunciate, that is the wrong word, to try and just show that more. That's why I made the screen red, I darken Crimson, and I lighten up Xanth just to make the hit look like it was more impactful. And it looks like that. But yeah, fun fight, very fun fight. And this is where a bunch of people were putting in timestamps of JoJo related things, because I did a ton of JoJo references in this fight. Not a ton, it was just 2. But yeah. That was the first one. So yeah, from the first fight, Cyanea did not show her time stop abilities. She showed it here because, you know, Seer is a stronger opponent, so she's trying to win. Yeah. I try and do the slow-mo again. It's cool, but I don't think it hits the same as the first time. And here's the second one. But we're gonna go back. So this whole sequence was also not that hard to pull off. So the fist coming towards you at this point right here, it's really just once a circle, and then under that circle is a darker circle, and then I have like this long what's the word I'm looking for? I guess we could say elliptical, or almost like cylindrical, like that's the third stick that's extending out to the left to the right off the screen. Excuse me, sorry about that. And that's all I did to show Cyanea's arm moving towards the screen. The white dash lines around it, that's just meant to signify win, that this is a very fast punch. And I also show this by having a very limited amount of frames. Just 1 frame, 2 frames, 3 frames, 4. And the 4th frame, it jumps really close to you. Then the 5th frame covers up almost the entire screen. And then to cut to the next shot, I do a red square to fill up the whole screen. And then the flurries of punches are really just a bunch of cylindrical sticks hitting Seer over and over and over again, and I just loop it over and over for a couple of seconds just to add some time and to show like, oh, these are really fast flurries of punches and he can't dodge it. And then I do that same kick that Crimson did earlier on this one. Of course, because I made Seer broken, he handled all that. Broke her skull, shoots an energy ball, explodes the huge boulder, fight's over. I think that's overkill, but that's what I chose to do. So, with the exception of the final fight, I honestly think this was my favorite one, because this is what I was trying to do. This fight was meant to be fast. There was really not meant to be any sort of break. I think throughout this entire fight, the only part where there's kind of like a pause is about halfway in. It's only for maybe like 4 seconds or so. But I love this fight. It's great. Just take a look. Yeah, so looking back at this, like the no debris comment, I don't think that really makes any sense. I really just use it as a way to add some time so I didn't have to animate as much of this fight. So like whenever there's like longer pauses like that and they kind of don't make any sense, I feel like that one doesn't make any sense. That was just me trying to find a way to add time. And I think that's actually one of the things that this tournament suffers from, because I added a lot of extra time where things just weren't necessary. And I think you'll see that especially in the final fight. This part right here is cool. So that was also not too hard to pull off. That was really just having a bunch of dust cloud sticks ready and available. So as Mercury is flying down this huge just piece of land that shot up from the ground by Crimson, I just added a smoke, and then there's a second one, there's a third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, all the way down to the ground. And then once Mercury hits the ground, I do a huge tremor where it just goes up and down like this. And then the smoke clears. Then I zoom in. All right, now we're getting to the good stuff. And I'm gonna give you guys well, not really a secret. I mentioned it before a couple years back, but this tournament almost never saw the light of day because for the final fight, something happened on my computer where I lost all of the animation for the Ultimate Pivot Tournament 2. And I honestly thought that like this was it was over. I would not be able to continue and I would have to start from scratch and I would have lost all the motivation to continue. Thankfully, I actually had half of it finished and uploaded to my Google Drive already. So all I needed to do now was redo the final fight and I would be finished. So that was like a huge relief for me because it could still be finished and I did not need to worry about starting the Ultimate Pivot Tournament 2 from scratch and just feeling so disappointed just because it was gone. I still have the file there on a different a different storage website instead of just my main computer. So thank God that happened. Honestly, I don't know what I would have done with myself. So what you're seeing right now is not the original final fight. This is the redo that I did after I lost the old one. So remember what I said about adding time? This whole sequence here, I feel like it didn't need to be that long. I could have cut it shorter. But you know, my idea behind it was to have build-up and anticipation, but I feel like it was dragging on for too long and I just looped the frames too many times. So as you can see, Crimson is being hit out with some very, very hot firepower, and yet he's not getting damaged. So there's really no explanation behind this other than the fact that I just made him, I'm not gonna say too powerful, just heat resistant. I don't know if that was a good idea though. So yeah, now they're transforming, and here's the second half of the fight. So another thing, I was buying time here. I had them clashing, like, I had that dragging on for way too long. I could have cut it shorter, and it still would have gotten the same message across. I feel like the second half of the fight was just very weak in comparison to the first. But, it's whatever. So, Flash, right? So in the original rendition of this final fight, Flash was still going to show up, so I had this plan from the beginning. I was gonna go somewhere with this, but I forgot what I was gonna say. But yeah, I mean, Flash was going to show up a little bit differently. Not by much though. Like, when Flash introduces himself here, he just stops their attack by doing this. I think what I had planned in the original was for him to actually attack them both to stop fighting, and they're like, oh my gosh, what the heck just happened? But I took a different route here. It's the same message.
Soka.
Ooh, new bracket. So, to any of my Dragon Ball fans here, you know exactly what this song is. A fierce battle against a mighty foe. Why did I use that? Because this was around the year when the Tournament of Power ended in Dragon Ball Super, and this song was used so much, and it's such a fire song, and I think it's just great battle music. So I was just like, bet, I'm using it. I'm gonna use it. So that's what I did. So something else you probably have noticed is whenever there's like climactic moments happening, I change the color of the sky. I don't really have specific colors in mind. I just think of a color that I feel like would match the music that's playing for said fight, and I chose purple in this case. But I also had to make sure I picked colors that wouldn't blend in with the characters as well. And you know, purple and dark red can kinda just a little bit, I don't know, maybe if you're colorblind it might be harder to see crimson, but I feel like he's still distinguishable enough because it's not like a red that kind of borderlines into purple territory. But yeah, I'm just going on a tangent here, so let me continue. Yeah, I decided to do a 2v1. This was a pain in my side, but it was totally worth it. So right here is a Dragon Ball Super reference. When Jiren was attacking Goku and Vegeta, they were throwing hands with him like 2-on-1. That's what I referenced this song for. So instead of Goku and Vegeta versus Jiren, it's Crimson and Flash. And then Crimson and Seal versus Flash. But let's backtrack. This right here is one of my favorite sequences of this fight. Now I'm gonna go through it frame by frame. So, starting from here, Crimson, you know, he teleports from back up there to the ground, and he comes into frame, and then I dash him off screen. As he's dashing off screen, Flash is shooting straight down from the hit that Crimson did earlier, and Seer's already charged up his fists with firepower. So he's ready to just do a I can't think of the right word, but I'm just gonna say blitz, like a blitz of throws at Seer. And as you can see in this frame, they're all dash frames. The one going off screen, that's Crimson. The one coming down is Flash, and Seer is about to launch his blows, his hits against Flash. And then I do a red square to cover up the whole screen, then I lower the opacity, and then he lands the first hit. It's a hard hit. I shake the screen like crazy, And to show that it was an even harder hit, you can see like wind almost coming out of the backside of Flash. Like, this is really powerful, and I wanted to show that. And then I do another red square because Seer's about to do his consecutive blows, his consecutive normal punches, if you will, One Punch Man fans. And this was pretty easy. My goal here was to just have a lot of detail and make it about around 6 frames of detail, and then just loop it over and over for a couple of seconds. And that's exactly what I did. So here's the first frame, second frame, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, and then it loops over. Okay, so it wasn't 6 frames, it was 8. And every time Seer hits him, I have explosions, little mini explosions coming off of the impacts where he hits Flash. So a lot of attention to detail here. Every time they're doing some sort of rapid movement, I have smear lines around where their arms is, or where their arms are, or wherever Flash's body's contorting and it's really fast, like from here to here, I have smear lines there. The background is moving really fast, so I have a lot of dash lines and speed lines there. This whole scene is just very fast and very energetic, and I think I executed this very well, because I feel like that's just one part that I think people would find very memorable. And funny enough, very cool attention to detail. They're moving so fast that Crimson, it's very short, you would honestly miss it. Crimson is actually flowing behind them because of how fast Seer is moving forward. Which is why, and you'll see soon in the next shot, that's why Crimson comes back forward again. So yeah, it was just very fun. I love doing that shot. So the screen goes black here, not because Flash is doing a time stop, but because he's moving so fast right now that, you know, they're moving very slow, as you can see from here. Yo, I think the fight is over. Or is it? So, Dragon Ball fans, you heard that sound effect. That was totally an Ultra Instinct reference, but they're not going Ultra Instinct. They just powered up because they're pissed. That's essentially it. So, as you can see, they go into their super forms now, so they're in a much more powerful state. And I think I do a good job at showing the intensity of the situation. The music changes. They take up the whole screen. Their energy is shooting up from the ground. And yeah, overall, I think the scene is just executed well. I think this shows that they have a lot of power, and though it's a 2v1, they still have a shot at beating Flash. I could have made that shorter. That went on for too long. So Flash is now pushed to the point where he needs to exert more power than he ever has before, more than he ever did against Viridia. They have now pushed him to his absolute limit. He's never reached this state of power before. He never knew he even had it. This just happened because he was pushed to the brink. And how did I pull this off? So after after he slammed into the ground super hard, that attack essentially like kind of knocked him out, which is why he's floating. He's floating and they're trying to attack him, but they aren't hitting. which is why you hear that that smash ball sound effect from Super Smash Brothers, to show that the attacks aren't connecting. And then when they attack him enough, like his limiter breaks and he powers up and it takes up the whole screen. And this is like Seer and Crimson's oh shoot moment. But yeah, the way I did this is the exact same way I did it when Seer and Crimson were transforming. The breakdown of this scene is when we have this shot here. We have the wind blowing in the background. This was really just me having about at least 20 dash sticks small across the screen horizontally. Those are just moving up repeatedly. And then we have the dash sticks that I have moving across the screen left and right, because this is so much energy, this is so much power. The wind is moving everywhere. So I have about 20 dash sticks moving to the left, 20 dash sticks moving to the right, and they're just looping that over and over and over. And then not to mention the power aura that's shooting up from the ground. That one is pretty easy. Very sorry guys, there's a whole truck that just moved by. But the aura that's shooting up, that's just me using about 5 cylindrical sticks that are just shooting up, and those are static. I'm not moving them at all. What's making it look like it's moving are the dash sticks that I have inside of the I'm losing my train of thought. The energy aura, there we go, my bad. So as all of that is happening, I'm also panning the shot down so we can see more of Flash's power, and I'm making Seer and Crimson look small because Flash's power right now is greater than theirs. Like, he's now at the level where he's not overwhelmed. He can overpower them at this point. But he's in a little bit of a surprise because, as you can see, it's actually pretty even. So here we go. So, you know, the line fight from the first tournament, I bring it back here. Crimson holds on to him, and then Seer does the Hell Zone Grenade, which is Piccolo's skill from Dragon Ball. So that's a direct Dragon Ball reference. But Flash obviously tanks it and then slams them both into the ground, and they lose their super forms because it was like a really hard hit. Yeah, this wasn't for adding time. I actually needed some dialogue here. So, just to explain this part a little bit, Flash drained the energy from Seer and Crimson to make this huge ball of energy. Ow. I hit my elbow against the wall. But this huge ball of energy that he's going to absorb into himself. This is a Dragon Ball reference. If you've seen Super Android 13, this is what Goku does with the Spirit Bomb. He literally gets the energy from everybody, absorbs it into himself, becomes super powerful, and destroys Super Android 13. You should watch that movie, it's pretty fun. So that's what's happening here. But instead of landing a punch, Flash is now going to do this super huge explosion, and Seer and Crimson get caught up in that. Animating the sequence really wasn't too hard. The way I did it is I had Seer and Crimson running first. I had that animation done first. Then I went back and added in the huge ball of energy expanding. I did that afterward. And that was it. And then everything explodes. This pause didn't need to be this long. this whole dialogue here really wasn't that necessary. I was just adding time. So yeah, he's just saying, oh, they're both out cold. They would have lost if it weren't for Sirius' shield, like this kind of stuff. It wasn't necessary. I mean, like, it was, but I could have cut it shorter. And the most glaring mistake of all, I did not spell congratulations right, and I can't fix it. But it's okay. So yeah, this tournament took about 8 months in total to finish. There was about a 2-month gap where I didn't work on it at all because I lost motivation, and I lost the entire final fight. So I wasn't sure what I was gonna do. So in reality, I would say it actually was more of a 5.5 month project. And it was very fun, and also very annoying losing that data. Like I said, I enjoyed making this tournament a lot. It's literally the highest viewed video on my channel and has the most amount of likes. It's crazy. It's honestly crazy. And I can't thank you guys enough for viewing this thing and allowing my channel to grow so much. The next one I'm going to react to, of course, is the Ultimate Pivot Tournament 3, which is about 8 minutes in length, so it's 3 minutes shorter than this, because I did not want for there to be any extra time at all. I wanted it to be straight to the point, concise, very exciting, very fast. My issue with this tournament, I think what it suffered from the most is that I dragged it out too long, but the animation was pretty decent. I think it could have used some work. I think it could have been more fluid in certain areas, but overall, not bad work for 4 years ago. So yeah, I think that's it for me. Have a good one, you guys. Take care. Have a blessed night. See ya.